Hello and welcome back to Should I Buy Games. My name is Connor Evans and today I will be taking you on a trip through my favorite games of 2016. Starting to make this list, I thought I was going to have trouble getting to 10 games because looking back on this year, I didn't think it quite reached the heights of years past. Only until I went into my trophy list did I realize it may not have been the best year for gamers, but it was a solid one indeed. I didn't get to play every game this year, obviously, due to time constraints and lack of funding. So that's why games such as Doom, Dishonored 2, or Watch Dogs 2 aren't on this list, even though I hope to get to all of them in the future. And then there's games like Overwatch that seem to be on everyone's year-end list, which is a game I actually picked up and absolutely despised. So if you can't get past that, click away now because this is my end of the year list and I make the rules. Some games I want to give honorable mention to that don't quite make the list but are definitely worth checking out are Dark Souls 3, Enter the Gungeon, Batman Arkham VR, and I want to give a huge special shout out to Modern Warfare Remastered that doesn't make the list because it's a remake, but 2016 was the first time I got to play the single player and absolutely loved it to death. The games on this list aren't necessarily the best games of the year, but they are the games I sunk the most time into and found the most enjoyment in. So without further ado, let's jump into the number 10 spot. At the number 10 spot, we have Battlefield 1. Battlefield 1 has been on my radar as the marquee military shooter of 2016. I was a huge fan of World War II shooters as a kid, so being able to hop back into a World War with modern graphics and a new story and setting made Battlefield 1 truly special. From its well-executed vignette-style single-player to its addictive and robust multiplayer, I couldn't put Battlefield 1 down well into November. It's a fantastic example of making something old new again, and hit on all the right spots of my nostalgia while bringing new and fresh ideas to the table. DICE should be commended for taking this risk, and hopefully we are rewarded with much of the same in the future. Number 9 goes to the remake of the PS2 classic, Ratchet & Clank. Man, what a beautiful game. Its stylized, cartoony art style was finally realized in this remake, while retaining everything that made the original so great. Ratchet & Clank has always been a simple concept that allows people of all ages to find enjoyment in its wacky guns, over-the-top action, and funny dialogue. It truly is one of a kind, and for a launch price of $40, it's easily one of the best values of 2016. It's sitting in my PS4 right now, and I still can't believe it. I've been waiting for Final Fantasy XV since it was under a different name, and I was 10 years old. I was 10 for Christ's sake when this game was announced, and 4 Uncharted games and The Last of Us have come out since then. Its tortured development cycle finally wrapped this year, and I was as nervous as could be that it would all be for nothing. Luckily, it seems like myself and just about everyone else was surprised with the robust and polished package we got. Its deep leveling and side quest system, coupled with a more action-oriented combat style, struck all the right chords with me. It's a game I never quite finished, mostly because it's something I never want to end, and I think that says everything you need to know about Final Fantasy XV. "2016 may not have been the year VR takes off, but it's still given us a slew of unique titles for the hardware that show off the potential of what it could become. Thumper is one of those games that is fine without the headset on, but reaches new heights of immersion with it. I had never heard of a game described to me as a violence rhythm game, but after playing Thumper for a few hours, I understood exactly what it meant, and I loved it. Its breakneck speed and precision timing coupled with a unique style make it truly one of a kind. Looks like it's VR Variety Hour because we're sticking with another VR exclusive from Ubisoft with Werewolves Within. Werewolves Within is the single PSVR game that I can play for hours on end without even noticing the clunky unit strapped to my forehead. It doesn't exactly bring a new or novel idea to the table. On a surface level, it really is just finding out who the werewolves are and lying your way out of it if you're a sneaky wolf. But it goes much, much deeper than that. The inclusion of different roles and playstyles make it so no two games are the same. Not to mention how throwing a really fantastic liar, such as myself, into the mix can change the whole landscape of the experience. And that's the thing about Werewolves Within. It's not about the game. It's about the people I met and the laughs I had that make it so very special. Never has a community been so kind and hilarious than with Werewolves Within, so for that, it makes my number 6 spot. The craze that took over the world for a few short months and then poofed out of existence. At least for some anyways. I'm one of the few people who still play Pokemon Go on a daily and see myself playing it for months, maybe years to come. It took over my summer just like it may have for many of you. It took me on adventures around my town and led to some of the best interactions with other people playing a game that I've had all year. It's a broken mess and has a million problems, but the late night walks to hatch eggs, countless Pokestops to spin, and chasing down the over 100 Pokemon to fill out my Pokedex is a gift that keeps on giving and will continue long into the days to come. Top 4, and I've got to give it to the king of couch co-op, Overcooked. Overcooked is a cooperative masterpiece in the same vein of a game like Space Team. It's equal parts frustrating and fun as you run around a kitchen, chopping veggies and putting together burgers on the fly. Screaming at my girlfriend to cook the fucking meat, clean the plate, send the order out is stressful and hilarious, but the moments where you're trying to get 3 stars and you meticulously plan out exactly what each of you are going to send out to get those 3 extra orders and hit the requirements are some of my favorite moments in gaming ever. If you've never heard of Overcooked or have never tried it, what are you doing? It's too good to pass up on. All of a sudden, we're in the top 3. And I have to give it to my newfound obsession that I am totally late to the party on, and you guessed it, it's Fire Emblem Fates. I heard all the buzz around Awakening, but I never considered myself very good at strategy role-playing games, so I passed it up. How wrong was I? The great thing about Fire Emblem Fates is that you can play it any way you want. You can make it uber challenging with the inclusion of permadeath, or you can turn it off completely and focus on the social aspect, which is exactly what I did for my first playthrough. The gameplay is fun and tactical, whereas the story is passable at best, but its characters are what kept me coming back for more. Pairing people up in battle makes their relationships grow, and getting the gratification of the silly little conversations and blossoming relationships after every battle was the carrot on the end of the stick that kept me pushing forward. I've played through Birthright and Conquest multiple times, pairing different people up, learning new battle strategies, and challenging myself with the different degrees of difficulty. It's a game that caught me completely off guard, and I hope to continue enjoying it on the go for some time to come. Oh boy, we're getting up there. It's the top 2. Not a lot of games left. What could it be? What could it be? You already know it's Inside. What a game! What a unique and much needed breath of fresh air in a year that is overrun by sequels and subpar spin-offs. Inside shook me to my core and made me think consistently about what it was trying to tell me. Months removed, now I still don't know exactly what Inside was about. Playdead is proving itself to be one of the best developers in the business, because as with Limbo, Inside is a masterpiece and a masterclass in game design. Nothing in Inside is there by chance. It's all meticulously laid out to inform the player, to help progress the story, or learn what to do to push forward a puzzle. It's dark and eerie, and the consistent deaths remind you of that. But with every death, I learned the necessary skills to progress each puzzle. I never felt like I was punished by dying. I learned from my mistakes, and that gameplay loop is unlike anything other in 2016. I went back and forth with this game and my number 1 for months. If not for the fact that I'm a huge fanboy of my number 1 spot, Inside would be sitting proudly atop of this list. If you've learned anything about me through watching Should I Buy Games, you know that I think Naughty Dog is the best developer in the business, and they continually prove my point. Uncharted 4: A Thief's End is the end of Uncharted, at least for now, and I could not be happier with this send-off for Nathan Drake. The first PS3 game I owned was Uncharted 2, and I cannot believe where the series has ended up. It has the best visuals out of any game on any console, and I don't think that can be disputed. But my love of this game comes from the story that Bruce and Neil set up. It truly is a love letter to the fans, giving us exciting and heartfelt conclusions to all the characters we have grown to love over 4 games, while introducing new ones all the same. Not only is the story and characters great, but Uncharted 4 gives us some of the best action set pieces in any game that had me gripping my controller so tightly to the point of almost snapping it. Which doesn't sound fun at all, but you just don't get those oh shit moments from any other game, and you definitely don't get ones that look as good as the ones in Uncharted 4. The introduction of new combat elements and wide open places to explore added some open-endedness to A Thief's End, and set it apart from its predecessors, making it my favorite game in the series. I'm going to miss playing as Nathan Drake, but I can't imagine a better send-off for this timeless series. What's your favorite game of the year? Leave a comment below and tell me what you think. And feel free to tell me how stupid I am for not putting a game on the list that you love. Believe me, I can take the criticism. If you enjoyed the list and want more Should I Buy Games, I put up reviews and opinion pieces every once in a while, so be sure to click that subscribe button to stay up to date on all Should I Buy Games content. And remember, let me waste money so you don't have to.